Story time of how I left the date before it even started. So, this guy asks me out on a date, right? I'm like, okay, cutesy, like, let's go. Young and naive. I'm like, let's give this man a chance, right? The plan was to go to a cinema, get a cheeky meal, go our separate ways. I'm like, that's cutesy. Love that. Let's go. The day of, we're texting, like, just to make sure we both get there around the same time. And I'm like, hey, like, I just got done getting ready, like, should be leaving in the next 5 to 10. He's like, okay, I'll get in the shower now. I was like, no, I said I'm done getting ready. I should, like, he was like, yeah, I'll get in the shower now, don't worry, I'll be there before you. I'm really quick, I live close by. I was like, right, that's a red flag number 1, but we'll let that go. I get to the place. Guess who obviously isn't there? Him. He's like, yeah, sorry, I'm 5 minutes away. I'm like, oh, okay. Pulls up 5 minutes later. I'm like, okay. Red flag, but at least it's 5 minutes. I'll give you a little grace. No, we'll walk into the cinema. He's like, oh, I actually need to quickly pop by a shop and buy some stuff. I was like, okay. He walks into some sneaker store and is like, oh, can you record me as I buy the shoes? My flabber was beyond gusted. When I say, I literally stared at him like, you want me to record you buying? Okay. So there I am standing like an idiot on his phone, recording him make the purchase. And I'm chuckling, but I'm like, okay, it's fine. We leave. Now we're walking to the cinema. Does this man not say, so what movie are we watching? Listen, I may be a very sweet person, but I have the rage of a man. I turned to that man and I said, what do you mean, what movie are we watching? He's like, no, I figured you would have checked. I said, why the fuck would I have checked when you asked me on the date? Now he's like, whoa, why are you getting mad? I'm like, what do you mean, why am I getting mad? Oh, fine. We get to the cinema. Now we have to look to see what movie options there are, what time they start, is it reasonable? Fine. As we're doing that, he's like, okay, wait, I'll be back. I need to go somewhere quickly. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, like, I'll be back just now. I'm like, okay. Now in my mind, heavily delusional. I'm used to princess treatment. I'm like, okay, this is his compensation. He's gonna go buy me flowers because he feels bad. I was like, okay. 5 minutes go by. I'm like, okay, that's justifiable. 10 minutes go by. I said, no, there's no way you're buying flowers that are around the corner and it takes you 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do a little bit of shopping. I do a little bit of shopping. I go back. He's still not there. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not gonna work. I called an Uber and I went home. I put on my pajamas and I watched Netflix and I had an amazing time. He was obviously blowing up my phone. Where are you? Where the frick are you? I was like, I'm at home. He's like, why are you at home? I was like, because you're actually taking the piss. Like, actually, you take me for a joke and it's not gonna work. Like, what are you talking about? Because I was stood there, like, in total, between me standing there, going shopping and coming back, I think it was over half an hour. And he didn't even say where he was going. He just said, I'll be back. Anyway, yeah, never saw that man again. Blocked him as soon as I got home. Wait, and I forgot to add, that man had fished me. He was bald-headed. He was bald-headed. I found out too late, but it's okay.
What was the incident in your high school that was just so controversial? It had everybody talking. Me, I was the incident in my high school. For whatever reason, I was just always doing something and I was constantly talked about, and I can't even blame people anymore, okay? Like, I was canceled in my own high school. I was canceled by my own city a few times, actually. You could probably ask anybody I went to high school with who was in high school at the same time as me, and they'll tell you. So let's get into a few of the reasons why I got canceled, rightfully so. If my face turns red, it's because I'm humiliated. And I can say all of this now because I'm on antipsychotics. This one I just have to get off my chest because it is so embarrassing. For whatever reason, I was obsessed with this guy who was using me, okay? He was using the fuck out of of me. So in order to get him to stay, I don't even think it was to make him stay, honestly. I think I just wanted attention. I took a picture of a pregnancy test, right? Now, I had already told him that I thought I was pregnant. Like, I had a build up to this, right? So I took a pregnancy test. I knew it was going to be negative. Like, I knew that. And of course, it was negative. So I go on to Facetune. And do you remember that patch thing back when Facetune was free? I did the patch of the line and I made another line. Now, the line was way too close together. Way too close together. Because I couldn't have been bothered to look up a picture and understand how far apart they were, that they weren't right next to each other. Okay, I shouldn't have done this. It gets worse. So I did send it to him and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm pregnant. What are we gonna do? We ended up having like a 2-hour long conversation on what we're gonna do, right? He ended up cutting me off. He didn't tell me why, but probably because when he spoke to his friends, they told him that those lines are way too damn close together. She's lying to you. And I ended up messaging his mother on Facebook and telling her that her son got me pregnant. And yeah, like, it was really bad. That ended up being all over the school very shortly. Then there was another guy I was obsessed with, whole different guy. I know, untreated BPD, just obsessing over people. I'm a lesbian now, by the way. And he hated me. He wanted nothing to do with me. At least the other guy had some type of interest in me, okay? This guy hated me. He did not like me. And he ended up starting to talk to this girl who I was, like, friendly with. Like, we weren't even friends, okay? Like, we were just, like, friendly. Actually, I think I'm, like, underestimating that. We were pretty close. But still, okay? He owes me no loyalty. He's not my ex, okay? I was obsessed over him, okay? She wasn't wrong for talking to him, okay? I know that now. But I ended up fighting her, okay, in the bathroom. In the bathroom stall, I fought her. Now, my friend was in the stall with me, and she recorded this, and this is why everybody knew about it. But I literally flipped this girl over my shoulder, and I, like, hit her head off of the pole on the wall. Don't ask me where I got that WWE Mania move from. I don't know how I did it, okay? I was small at the time. But yeah, she had, like, a big knot on her forehead, and she could have, like, gotten concussed. Like, I felt really bad. I didn't feel bad at the time. But, like, when I started healing, I literally messaged her and I apologized to her and I just felt so bad. Like, I felt so bad. Like, that was really messed up on my part. I shouldn't have done that. My face is turning red because I am actually embarrassed of these things. There was an exposed page in my high school. I don't know why I'm doing this. Nobody's forcing me to do this. But, like, I just have to, like, clear my conscience. But there was an exposed page where this kid from my high school was showing everybody in my city's, like, explicit photos. He posted a picture of me. And it wasn't even that bad, okay? It was, like, me in my underwear. It wasn't anything bad. Well, like, yeah, that is kind of bad because I was, like, 15 at the time. So, hello, that's a minor. It's a minor. You're a minor, but that's a minor. I was a minor at the time. Anyways, I ended up posting on my story completely unclothed photo of myself, okay? No shirt, no underwear, nothing. In a mirror, full body picture, nothing. To show him that he had no control over me. Like, babe, that was not an Adele moment. You made that worse for yourself. Like, you made it worse. And a bunch of creepy old guys reached out to me. So, yeah, that one spread like wildfire because, of course, that ended up right on the exposed page. And there was like 10,000 people who were looking at that exposed page. It was a lot of people. Mind you, this was on a random Thanksgiving. Like, this was a day of thanks. And you did this. I was also in and out of psych wards quite a lot, so yeah, that was a huge conversation topic. I also had a friend who is very well known. I'm not going to get into too many details about this, but we were 15. She had like a 23-year-old boyfriend, and he would have sums with us, and that spread like wildfire. Okay, everybody knew about that. You know what? Don't shame me for that. Shame him. He's 23. I'm 15. I also got expelled from that high school twice. Not once, twice. And I still graduated 2 months early. So if you think you can't do it, you can. And there's definitely more things. But I was on a lot of medication. I was crazy. These are just the things that stand out. But yeah, a lot of things I don't remember. I have no memory of just because of how much medication I was on and how deranged I was. And I don't even fully remember these things, okay? I just kind of remember that it happened. Like, I could not tell you these things in detail.
My life is basically over. And all over a concert. Let me tell you what happened last night. Basically, yesterday, I was sick and I didn't want to go to school like a normal person. But I had a concert to go to tonight, and my parents said if I didn't go to school, then I couldn't go to the concert. Me being me, I felt like shit all morning, so I came home, tried to get some medicine. I didn't really go, back. Naturally, that pissed my parents off. They said, go back to school or you're losing your car. I said, okay. I go back to school. Did I actually go into campus, though? No, I sat in my car and waited for it to be lunch so me and my friend could leave. My dad saw my car's location and my location and basically saw that I was sitting in my car and I wasn't actually on campus. He's yelling at me. He's like, you can go home right now and not leave the house, or you can go back to school and go on with your life. And I said, I'll go home, but I didn't go home. I actually went to lunch with my friend and then went home. I'm still trying to go to this concert, so my mom comes home and I'm like, hey, what time are we going to the concert? She's obviously like, Natalia, what are you talking about? We're not going to the concert. I told you, like, you have to stay at school, yada yada. I'm like, no, but like, I felt terrible. Like, please, I feel so much better now. Like, you have to let me go. My favorite band, like, you have to let me go, basically. She's like, I don't know, we'll talk to your dad. I call my dad and I'm like, please let me go. And he's like, fine, you can go. Just know you're not gonna have your car this weekend. You might not have it this week if you like don't behave at the concert. I'm like, you know what, that's fine punishment, I'll take it. I won't have my car this weekend. Like, so now I'm carless for 2 days, but I'm going to the concert. Life is good. I get to the concert. Mom wanted to go into VIP. I wanted to be in the pit. Go into the pit by myself and I make some friends. I'm mingling, whatever. The artist comes on, we're dancing. You know, my mom can see me from the balcony. Behind me, we're rolling up and lighting up. And I went, yo, give me some. And my mom texts me and she goes, I saw that. You're getting tested tomorrow. Of course, my mother told my dad. Now my dad's blowing my phone up and he's like, you have no car ever. Don't expect to ever see your car. All this shit being so fucking dramatic. I understand what I did was wrong. I shouldn't have in the crowd. It's just my parents take this level issue and make it a this level issue. But halfway through the concert, I decide, you know what, I'm just gonna put my phone down, not answering anybody. But I had a great time at the concert. I actually had so much fun. I made friends. I'll tell you guys the story. Now comes this morning. Now I went and I tried to talk to my dad and I was super calm and I was trying to get like my punishment, like trying to get him to see he was being kind of crazy. I don't have my car this weekend. Of course, I accept that. And I can't drive myself to school on Monday, but I think I'll have my car back by Tuesday.
Okay, I'm gonna get this off my chest, and you can just tell me if I'm crazy or if I'm a fucking idiot, man. And bear with me, so this is gonna be all over the place. But look, I've been talking to this girl for like a couple weeks now, right? Things are cool. She's cool, I'm cool. We're fucking cool, man. We're cooling. A couple of ice cubes, bitch. We've been going out, going to a movie, going to get dinner, coming back to my place watching, just hanging out a couple times. This is an important part. We've been going out and doing things together, okay? And she works out of town, and I never made a comment about that. That's fine. I get it. We only see each other like once a week. And if you're busy, you're busy. I get it, whatever. But I asked today, I said, hey, are you coming home this week? She was like, no. And I was like, unfortunate. It is what it is. I think that's literally what I said. Unfortunate. It is what it is. Because, hey, I'm not fucking, we're not crazy. Like, we're not married. It's okay. But a little further down, I said something along the line. I said, I want to see you again. Do you want to see me again? And she was like, yeah, but it's going to be a little while. I was like, that's when I said it is what it is. I was like, yeah, it is what it is. That's cool. And then right after that, she hit me with like a what are we text, right? And I was like, what the? Okay. I was at work. Over text we're doing this? I was like, okay. And I said, hey, it's probably a better conversation to have like in person, I would think. But whatever. And usually when a person's hitting you with the what are we, in my mind it's because like, oh shit, like she wants me to like commit to her. And look, I'm not, that's fine. Like I'm not scared of relationships, that's fine. And we've been talking for like a couple weeks. So yeah, I think she's cool. So I was like, hey, I like you, and I'm not talking to anyone else. That's what I said first. And I was like, what about you? How are you feeling? She was like, I like you too. I see you left that apart. You left that a sentence. I see that. Hey, are you talking to other people? She's like, people hit me up sometimes, but no, you're the only person I've actually been with physically. And I'm like, okay. I mean, we haven't even had that discussion yet, so that's whatever. Yeah, we're having it now. Then she was like, hey, can I make an assumption about you that you may or may not agree with? And I was like, you can. Okay, yeah. I'm sure this will be something about how great I am. I'm sure this will be a positive thing. She says, I feel like you're scared of being vulnerable. And this was after the previous couple sentences that we have shared. And I was like, I mean, I thought about it. I'm like, scared of being vulnerable? I mean, not really. I'm also not gonna like tell you my life story when we've like just started getting to know each other. Like I don't know. That's not who I am, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of more reserved with myself. So I said, look, if we're just chilling, then we're just chilling. But if things get more serious, that's kind of when I prefer to share shit about myself. Like I don't know. I'm not just telling everyone my life story. That's kind of what I said. Like I have a small circle around me, I guess. I don't know. I'm mysterious, bro. I'm fucking aura-filled. Aura farm. This is aura farm. She's like, yeah, I get that. And I'm like, hey, can I make an assumption about you? She's like, yeah. And I said, I think you're scared of relationships. Am I right? She was like, yeah, I am. And I was like, so why is that? Like, what's there's, cause something was weird here. Like, something's going on, man. She's like, she had bad experiences, and then she's just scared of commitment and doesn't want to get trapped into something that's like bad. And she also said like men can be evil. She's scared. No, she said when men get into a relationship and get serious, then they become evil. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? I'm like, all of them? Like me? You think am I just what? Like what? To me, that's like a very immature perception of like how people work. So I was just like, what's going on right now? Like this is devolving into a weird area. So I was like, look, I'm not even sure what evil means in this context. I said that. I was like, what are evil? Like we're talking about evil. I don't know what that means like with what we're talking about, but I'm like, if you've had bad experiences and that makes you like scared of being in a relationship, that makes sense. I get it. Yeah. Oh, and she also said, like, in regards to us getting serious, she was like, yeah, we haven't talked about, like, our past relationships, and normally that's usually how I know people are getting serious. I'm like, what? I said, hey, that's, like, a conscious choice I'm making not to talk, like, I don't want to talk to you about my past relationships, like, and I said, I don't want to do that, it's kind of something I decided not to do, because I would rather just kind of, like, treat you as, like, your own person and not compare you to, like, my experience being with someone else. She's like, yeah, I get that. I'm like, I mean, but we could talk about that if you want. I mean, I don't particularly want to. I don't really want to hear about yours, to be honest. But if you want to tell me about it, absolutely. And then I was like, so how do you want me to take you? Like, do you want me to take you seriously? Or do you want me to just be like, whatever? And she was like, I expected you to say that you were like talking to other people. And I was like, what the? I thought you expected me to say you want me to take you seriously. But, I mean, I guess not. I was like, look, I thought she was kind of like afraid that I was like using her, or afraid. That's what I thought this was. I thought she was like thinking that I was like a typical guy or whatever. And like I was just gonna, I don't know, try to hook up with her and then leave or whatever. Which is like, I don't, like, no. So I kind of just laid my cards on the table. I was just like, yeah, I mean, look, I like you. I like what we're doing. You're cool. I enjoy talking to you. And I'm like, I don't need us to like declare our loves for each other or anything. But like, yeah, I'm cool with this getting more serious down the line and then like moving in that direction, just seeing what happens. I think that's like what I said. I didn't say like we have to be boyfriend and girlfriend right now, or we have to like get married in a year. Like I just said, nah, I'm cool with this being like only talking to you and just seeing what happens. And she's like, basically this conversation then turned into, I'm not ready for a relationship. I was like, then what the fuck were we even why'd you even bring this whole thing up? What's happening right now? What the fuck? I wasn't gonna bring this up. Like what is going on? Yeah, and this is where us going out and doing things is important. I forgot to add, because like during this whole thing, I was like, okay, I'm cool with like us going out, getting dinner, whatever, going on dates. I would call that dating. I said that I would call what we're doing dating. I'm cool with continuing that and being like exclusive. Like, would you say we're dating? She was like, oh, for dating, I didn't know we were. I was like, what the fuck? Do I live like a different word? Like, I'm not saying like I love you. I'm not saying we're like married, but I feel like everyone in America would call this dating. You know what I'm saying? We're going out to dinner. repeatedly, or if we're going on dates? Is that, I mean, what else is it? I don't know. I texted her, I was like, hey, that's cool, but can I ask you like questions now? I was like, why do you care if I'm being vulnerable? And also, the reason I'm not being vulnerable is because of this. It's for this reason. I don't want to like waste time. I was just like, oh my god, it mind fucked me.
Dan says he went on a date with this woman he thinks was a vampire. And we've done vampire stories in the past, but we've never done one about a woman who was potentially the vampire. So I'm excited for this story. But this guy wanted to be called Max, and he said he's African American and lives in this town where he kind of knows everybody that he would potentially be interested in. So when he joins this dating app, he's not really expecting to come across anyone that he doesn't already know or didn't already try to date or anything like that. So he's swiping, and again, he's not really expecting much, but this girl pops up and she is drop dead gorgeous. He said old school beauty. She had long jet black hair and there was something about her eyes. So he's like, why don't I know who this is? Because her profile said she was 25, and he was like, I just feel like I would already know who this person is. Like, she looks like a model, but her profile said new to town, looking for a cute tour guide, maybe more. So he swipes to match with her, and he's thinking that there's a possibility that this is a catfish, but he swipes anyway, and it's an instant match. So he's really excited, but he obviously wants to verify that this is a real person. So he messages her and he asks her to verify basically who she says she is with any other social media links, her Insta, X, anything. But she says, I don't have anything like that. And he's like, yeah, I'm getting catfished. But she says it's because she just left an abusive relationship, and she's from that town originally but had moved away and moved back after getting out of this abusive relationship. She said, yeah, my ex didn't let me have any social media or anything like that. I'm just trying to rebuild, but this town has changed so much. It's almost like a city now. It used to have that small town feel. So I'm just kind of here looking to get to know people, and you know, if something happens, it happens. So he's like, cool. So he's giving her the benefit of the doubt, obviously, about her controlling abusive ex. He said, I know that those situations can happen. So I was trying to be there for her. Obviously, I wanted to get to know her better, but she really didn't give him too many details about her life. And he, again, in the back of his mind was like, maybe I am getting catfished. She would disappear all day, every day. She wouldn't talk to him. And she just said this was because she worked a day job and she wasn't on her phone at all. But he said the second the sun went down every single night, his phone would light up and it would be her. And she would be like, hey, how was your day? Did anything interesting happen in the world today? He said on the off chance that this girl was real, he wanted to have conversations that were interesting to her. So he actually started paying attention to world news so that he would have talking points. He said they would have great conversations about ideas and about the world around them, but never about people or intimate details of their life. And they go on talking like this for about a month. She never wanted to FaceTime. She never wanted to talk on the phone. So it was always over Messenger or text. After a month of this, I don't know if he was talking to his friends about it or something, but he's like, I don't want to just text anymore. I want to meet you to make sure that you're real. Max said he suggested that they meet for lunch because he thought it was light, not too serious, not too much pressure. And she says, no, I can't do lunch during the day. I work too much, but I would love to come over to your house sometime. And I agree. I feel like I'm so attracted to you. I cannot wait to meet you. So this makes him excited. He said that he didn't want to just invite her straight over to his house because he thought that was weird. He had never met this person. So he's like, okay, why don't we go for a walk at the pier in our town? And then if things go well, you can come back over to my place. I'll cook you dinner and we can watch Netflix or something. Says he showed up that night. He was dressed very casual, and she showed up in what he said was the weirdest clothes he's ever seen. It looked like she was in some kind of like 80s Halloween costume, but she was gorgeous. He said she had jet black hair down to her hips. She had a great body, and her skin was like a filter, but she spoke very strangely. Literally the first thing she says to him is, mighty fine night we're having. Said this was clearly the girl from the picture, so I guess her controlling ex story checked out. But he said every time she spoke that night, he was hung on to every word that left her lips. Anytime she told him to do something, like she would say, go pick up that leaf over there, I want to inspect it. And he would go and get it for her. And he said, I don't even know why I did that. But he said something in him felt like she was controlling his mind, if that makes sense. Eventually, though, they kiss. She says, I'd like to go back to your place. And he's like, cool. So he gives her a ride back to his house. I don't know how she got there, but she's in his car. And that's when it gets weird because she brings up his ex-girlfriend, his high school sweetheart, this girl named Hannah. They were driving back to his house having a normal conversation, as normal as it could have been with her speaking in Old English, when all of a sudden she looks at him and she says, do you still love Hannah? And he looks at her dumbfounded because he's like, Hannah was my ex that was my high school sweetheart that passed away in a car crash. So he's like, I did not mention anything about Hannah to her, so I have no idea how she knew who Hannah was. So he looks at her, he's like, how do you know about Hannah? And this girl says, well, she's on the other side. So do you still love her? Aren't I more beautiful? And he said at that point, he looked her in the eyes and he realized her eyes were purple. And he remembers thinking to himself, like, her eyes are weird. And I didn't recognize down at the pier that her eyes were purple. So maybe she's wearing contacts, but like, how did I not notice that? Anyway, to give you context on Hannah, he told me that Hannah was the love of his life, and he always kind of made a promise to himself after she passed that she would always have a place in his heart, even though he tried to move on. He just never really was able to. He said, honestly, looking back at that night, I feel like her spirit was the one that saved me from what eventually happened, because Second this girl brought up her name, I just felt like Hannah's spirit was around. But anyway, this girl is still talking and she's trying to convince him that he doesn't love Hannah anymore. She keeps asking him the same questions like, aren't I more beautiful? Just tell me I'm more beautiful. She's dead anyway. He's getting more and more upset, but he's like, what do I do with this girl? She's in the car. And so he's trying to figure out, how does this girl know? I don't know if this girl maybe had like looked at his social media or something. He didn't go into detail, but that's the only thing I can think of logically that this girl would have known about his ex. But this girl will not answer him on how she knows about Hannah. And so they finally pull up to his house. He's like, all right, well, we're here. He's trying to figure out what to do with her. And then she says the famous line, are you going to invite me in? And that's when Hannah pops into his head again, because he said that him and Hannah's family were both very spiritual and they had these rules that you are not supposed to invite people in. You just let friends and guests follow you. He said one of the things that Hannah had always believed was that their town had been founded by vampires. It had always just been a subject that she was interested in, like the history, like where did that lore come from? And so as soon as Tally asks Max if she can be invited inside, he's like, no. He said when he told her no, she opened the door, got out of the car, looked back in the car at him, smiled and said, you really loved her, huh? And then walked down the driveway. He said he got out of the car, slammed the door, ran in, and as he was closing the door behind him, heard her laughing at the end of the driveway in this very creepy and manic voice. Max didn't hear from her again, but the next day he said he went to his grandmother's house and he said his grandmother deals with the mystical, but he didn't really go into detail. But he said she was getting some food ready. He looked in one of the mirrors at his grandmother's house. In the mirror, where Tally touched him on his lips and on his face was glowing. I guess his grandmother sees this. I don't know if this is like a figure of speech of just something that the grandmother saw in the mirror or if Max saw this himself. But either way, the grandmother sees his reflection in the mirror, drops the plate of food, runs over to him, and yells, where are you cut? Did it bite you? She's shaking him. She's frantic. She runs in her room, grabs a firearm, comes back out and is questioning him. He said, I almost peed my pants because I thought she was going to do something to me. Yes, eventually he calmed his grandmother down. He was like, I'm not a vampire. But he said he wanted to share what his family knows about them. His grandmother said, because she believes that vampires are very real. She said that you need to take your mirrors to a church, have them doused in holy water, the Lord's Prayer said over your mirror. According to her, this will allow your mirrors to show a vampire or to show if you've been touched by one because your skin will glow where you've been touched. She says that vampires do have reflections and the idea that they don't is a lie spread to help them. He also believes that for the first 7 days after a person is turned, they do not need to follow rules. They do not need to be invited in. These new turns are pawns used by older vampires in order to target high-profile targets. And lastly, the garlic thing is allegedly not true. She believes that rock salt is the only true way to keep them out.
Once a cheater, always a cheater. Here's how I got the best revenge ever. So I had been on and off again with this smoking hot guy for quite a while. We'll call him Steve. Then out of nowhere, shit just gets so weird. I comment something cute on one of his Facebook posts and I get this random message from this girl telling me to pipe down because he already has someone. Now, this is giving red flags because this girl sounds pretty confident here. So naturally, I confront Steve on this and Steve is like, oh, don't worry, she's just a friend. We only started talking like a month ago. So I dropped the whole, listen, you can either get rid of her or you can get rid of me. This guy chose to get rid of me. So then about a month later, guess who comes running back to me? Enter my fake profile. I put it under the name Amy Stevens. I make this profile with a sizable amount of gorgeous bikini pics, this sexy girl on the beach. Then I go in and I add enough info and enough friends to make it look like a legitimate page. Then I get to chatting up Steve through this fake account. Now here's the thing, Steve is currently in uni and gets the bus to and from because he doesn't have a car at the minute. Who comes to the rescue? Why, it's our girl Amy, of course. I arranged a special little date night between Amy Stevenson and Steve. She was going to pick him up from uni and they were going to go out for this gorgeous romantic dinner after his studies. At this time, Steve is starting to act a little bit too happy for my liking. Here's the thing, Amy Stevenson conveniently doesn't get off work till an hour after Steve's class is finished. I get a text from Steve saying that he's going to go to the bar with some friends and I'm like, okay, well, what time are you going? Do you want to hang out before that? He's like, no, it's all good. I'm just going to sit in and study until the guys are ready. So this is when the following text conversation starts to ensue. Amy Stevenson isn't replying. So Steve says, hey, are you coming to pick me up soon because the buses will stop running any minute? Amy replies, yeah, sorry, had to do overtime, on my way. Steve, okay, can't wait to see you. Oh, trust me, Steve, you can't wait to see me. So time drags by. Amy is now an hour late. She texts saying, I'm speeding to you now. 5 minutes later, fuck, I just got pulled over by the police because I was speeding. Steve says, oh God, okay, get here as soon as you can, please drive safe. More time goes on and Amy is now 3 hours late. And from the texts, you can just tell that Steve is pissed off at this point. And this is when I finally decide it is time to break the news to Steve. Steve gets a final text. He texts her saying, "Hey, are you still coming?" To which Amy Stevenson replies, "No, I've decided I don't go on dates with lying scum." Steve is like, "Wait, what?" And then I reply and say, "Oh yeah, this isn't Amy." I then text him from my phone number and say, "It's me." And that is how I catfished my own boyfriend.